Oh, we should start with that. Yeah, let's.
Huh? No, I can breathe through my nose now. Oh, you did the thing. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna try this, starting now. Let's start with your best Adam Dunlap impression.
Oh, really?
Yes.
We're gonna start with that.
Yes.
All right. You gotta talk out of the side of your mouth, and you just gotta create relationships. You know what I'm saying? Listen, right? You want to create relationships that are lasting, and it's not marketing. It's just relationships between people. Give you money. Is that good?
That was pretty good. So you got the side of the mouth thing, and
Okay.
the kind of, I don't know if this is a Boston accent or what it is, but you guys, as Adam starts to talk more, he starts to use his hands more, and he has very tiny hands, so you have to be a little T-Rex with it. The more he starts to talk, the more he starts to philosophize, like he's telling you a secret. It's between me and you. It's all so quiet, like just between me and you. That's Adam Dunlap.
That was pretty good, I guess.
So what did you think of him?
I have actually mixed feelings about him, to be honest. I think he gets a really bad rap for potentially like the wrong reasons. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's made some poor like decisions, like business-wise, in the past. And I think the biggest problem I have is that he hasn't fully acknowledged that he's made mistakes. And that's what I want him to do. I just want him to be like, look, I made a mistake, like I messed up, own that mistake, and then be able to like try to move forward. But instead he tries to like defend every time every time there's something brought up about him. And yeah, I mean, I don't think he's a bad guy. He seems actually like a pretty good guy. Like when we were at the Roundabout, yeah, like we found out that he pays people to, he pays parkour athletes.
Sponsor them.
He sponsors them, like legitimate sponsors, not like, oh, here's a shirt, wear it for free. It's no, here, wear this shirt because I'm gonna give you some money to wear the shirt. Which I think is a really huge step forward in parkour as a sport, and there's nobody else out there doing it that I know of. Like I don't know of any other parkour company that's actually paying people money just to wear their product.
Yeah, well, there could be.
There could be, yeah,
but it's almost like people should speak out about it more. It's like, I'm getting money. I don't know, maybe it taints it or something, but I don't think it does. I think what's worse is people that are just, getting free clothes, which really doesn't cost the company that much to give them product, and then advertising for them because they're wearing their free clothes. Like, it should actually be worth something, but yeah. The Roundabout didn't quite go the way I thought it was going to go. I thought it was going to be live streamed.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
It just didn't seem very organized, and I understand why. I think, because it was Joey's idea, Joey Adrian, and he was like, I guess he wanted to put together this thing because he wanted to address some of the problems that he had with Adam. He's still a Take Flight sponsored athlete, and I think he still has a good relationship with Adam, but he wanted to bring up some of those things, and then also talk about issues that he wanted to talk about, like things like competition, things like parks, and like parkour, like charity work, that kind of stuff. Which I thought the actual discussion was good. I actually really appreciated how that went. But yeah, like I think Joey just kind of like it was his idea, and then it was just kind of like, here's the idea, like, I hope it's organized somehow,
Yeah.
And
It's kind of how he says he does everything.
yeah, that's basically what is. I just think that's his personality. What do you think? What did you think of the format, the talk?
Well, like in the middle of it, when it started to get, I don't even know if this footage will come out ever, but it started to me, turn into a Take Flight press conference where it was just people asking Adam questions, and Adam being defensive or just going off on some tangent about something else, and not actually addressing the question being asked. So I was just getting kind of tired of it, and I just said it. I just said, this is turning into a press conference for Take Flight, and you probably wish I didn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was kind of, I mean, I appreciated that you said it because I think it needed to be called out for what it was turning into, for sure. But I thought the, yeah, I thought it could have gone on a little bit longer. But again, like, what I wanted to hear from Adam wasn't like, here's my story and here's my defense of why this happened or something. Like, I just wanted to hear him say, like, yeah, like, you know, that's probably a bad mistake. That was probably a mistake, you know, like, at Take Flight shouldn't have done that. Or Take Flight did it, you know, it's in the past now, there's nothing I can change about it. You know, that would be a great answer to hear, but he didn't do that. He was defend, because I guess in his mind he doesn't feel like he did anything wrong. But that's not what people want to hear. People want to hear, like, okay, yeah, like, I made a mistake, you know, here's why I think it's a mistake, you know, and here's what we're trying to do for the future to make ourselves a better company, more representative of the parkour community. I think that would be a great way for him to, like, renew his reputation.
Yeah, he seems to have some good ideas, and it's a business, and he seemed to be, like, really afraid of business terms. The whole relationship thing. Like, you were trying to defend marketing. I felt like you were trying to defend marketing.
I was trying to defend business and money and parkour and the industry, and then he was just trying to, like, change the word. It reminded me of, I kind of mentioned this before, but it reminded me of, like, a politician, how politicians, like, change words around to make them sound more appeasing to the public. Like, he was basically saying marketing is, no, marketing is relationships, right? Yeah. Then you know, that's why I was saying that in the beginning. But it's marketing is relationships. It's like, well, yeah, I mean,
yes,
but it's also marketing. Like, you want a sponsored athlete to wear your product so that you will get exposure as a company. You're not going to just give your product to somebody who's not going to give you exposure. And you're definitely not going to give them money too, you know, like, so yeah, it's a relationship, but it's a business relationship. Like, you know, it's marketing. You want your product, you want your business to grow, and so you're doing something for this athlete so that they will support you. So it is a relationship, but I don't know, it seemed like he was trying to twist it in ways that, like, politicians kind of do, which I really didn't like, but yeah, I felt I was trying to almost defend him and the business in some way, and then he sort of switched it around, like, almost like I don't know if he thought I was, like, disagreeing with him or attacking him or something like that, but I think I was trying to, like, show him that, like, no, like, you know, business is good in parkour, and I think, like, what Take Flight is doing, at least some of the things, you know, it's a good thing. So yeah.
Cool. So I had fun. During the weekend, though. Portland is a nice place, even though it rained all the time.
Yeah, I'd like to go back.
They were pretty hospitable at the gym and everything. Yeah. So
they have amazing coffee.
They do have amazing coffee
and food.
Yeah, that's true.
We enjoyed their delights.
Their goods. Anyway, I figured we'd talk about a couple of videos this week because we haven't really had a chance to do that. You saw Minh's video?
I did.
I enjoy the quality of his movement.
Right.
Say, what do you think about Minh and this video in particular?
He's super clean. I think it's clear that he has a lot of experience with the type of movements that he does. So, I think I love the way he puts lines together. I like his vision. I think he has some really cool ideas. Things I didn't like, though, is I feel like every time I see a video of his, it's in that same spot. And, you know, on the one hand, it's like, okay, yeah, that's cool. Like he's, like, getting the most out of the spot. But at the same time, it's like, is he adaptable to other environments? You know what I mean? Is he, like, can he take things to height? Can he do, you know, like, what is his skill set outside of those white walls?
Yeah, I think
because he spends pretty much all of his movement is based around, like, I don't know, like those cast mounts and, like, lazy vaults and
graceful,
like,
versions of parkour movements.
Yeah, and so I'm curious to see, like, how adaptable he is to, like, other types of environments, other types of other styles of parkour? Like, can he, can he do like big gap jumps and stuff like that? Because he doesn't seem to showcase that in his actual movement.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, because people got to realize too that in order to link vaults together quickly, requires force, requires hops, requires other things, and I think that the way he's able to do it demonstrates that there's definitely hops there. He even has videos where he does, not recently, but before, where he does a little bit of tumbling and stuff like that too.
Right. Yeah.
So I think he definitely has hops. Yeah, I think my whole thing with Minh videos whenever they come up is people are always like, oh, he's so fast and stuff. And I'm thinking, not really. He's intentionally favoring aesthetic. He's doing like traditional parkour movements, but he's altering them to favor aesthetic. Like the whole, like if you're gonna pre-wall and then do like a swivel around into like a lazy vault, which is cool. I mean, I was working on that before I busted my leg.
Yeah.
It's not like a fast move. It's a freestyle move, if anything.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing I get out of it is like he does a lot of traditional parkour stuff, but like I guess the thing that always comes up in my mind because of the era that we're in right now is like, how would he do in a speed course? Like,
Yeah.
And that I find that question comes up a lot in my mind because like there's a lot of like traditional parkour guys out there that do like these like the tech style, the technical techers and style, and like stepping on the middle rail and stuff like that.
Middle rail
that
step.
middle rail step. And like catting weird things and doing like tiny dynos like at ground level. And I always wonder like, can they do stuff at height? Can they actually apply their skills in speed runs, like real speed runs where there's a time?
Right.
That to me is always an interesting question. But I mean, I think he probably would be reasonably well at it. He's got like a really solid skill set, and he's clearly powerful. But it's just a matter of like, well, can he apply that like to the environment the same way that he can do these aesthetic movements? And the question also I have is how many practice attempts does it take him to get those lines? Like, is that like second, third try, or is that like 20th try? You know what I mean?
Right. Well, so talking about speed courses, and kind of when you watch videos, I felt like Max's new video, Max Henry, he tried to do that with the first portion of the video. It's like, here are some sample time trial where he has yet to compete in an actual official speed course, should mention. And I think that might change a lot of things for him.
He was supposed to be here. He was supposed to compete at APC, and then he was wrestling with Jeremy Sanders.
Yeah, and
hurt his hip or something.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, I felt like the beginning of that video, he was kind of going on the limb, like trying something different, because it was a lot of like long shots,
lines,
which is hard for a lot of people to watch, but it seems to be pretty well received. I felt like that part of the video exposed quite a few things that he could probably improve at.
Yep.
But I'll let you go first. What did you think of the video?
Oh, I liked it. I guess my biggest issue with it is I want him to put together a video that is like filmed and edited really well, and I don't think he has that like as like, well, one, I don't think he really cares enough.
He doesn't have a Giles.
He doesn't have a Giles. He doesn't have like, and he's not a Giles. He doesn't have the skill set to do it, right? So, so I guess that's my number one issue is like I want to see like a good like well-produced Max Henry video, and that has yet to happen. But that's a compliment because I think his movement is amazing. But the lines, I think I agree. It does expose some holes. Like there's a few instances where he was like stuttering and like on his step spacing was off. And
particularly when he's coming down for a speed step or a step vault.
Right.
I found there was a lot of lines where he had to descend with one, and he was very carefully like approaching the edge instead of doing like power strides at it. Yeah. Which I don't know if he realized that when he watched it, because he mentions I read like the description of the video, he mentions, he thinks he's slow, this and that, so he's critical enough of himself where I think he'll pick up onto it.
Tell you what though, he did some really unique movements, like he was doing this one descent that was really cool. And then he finishes with a gate vault. And
Yeah,
it was
at the
like,
very beginning.
Yeah, like, and he was telling me about that actually when he was here. He was like, yeah, I found a gate vault that's like an applied gate vault.
Yeah.
Like, it's the best way to do it. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. And then I saw it, and it is a really cool
Yeah.
gate vault.
And it would have been cool if maybe he had another angle of it too, so we
Yeah,
could
so you could see it, like,
see.
or like see from the other side,
Yeah.
like when he actually descends into it. Yeah, that would be cool. But again, that's like, he doesn't have a Giles, he doesn't have somebody like critical of, you know, shots and stuff
Yeah.
like that to actually help him with it. But yeah, I like that he's like, his flip game is on point too. Like he's got dub cork, dub A, like pretty looks pretty easy for him. I think he's actually like really sort of underappreciated in terms of like what he
Yeah.
can actually do.
And part of that is the quality, like the quality that goes into the video production, not necessarily his movement, which is unfortunate because there are some people on Facebook and stuff. I hear comment, a lot of old school guys that hate on the new style of too many close shots or too many cuts and things
Right.
like that in movement. And sometimes I hate it too, but yeah, if he just someone film for him. He's gonna be in the Storm video, I think. We'll probably get to see him do some cool stuff.
Yeah.
There's been some other videos, and there's parts of that video where it looks like he uses a different camera, but
Right.
you know, who knows what's going on. I think we're just used to seeing like GUP videos where everything's shot with like a wide fisheye, and Kongs with a dropper made to look like they're taking forever in the air to get to it because slow-mo combined with fisheye and everything. So it's really hard to look at Max's video, and you almost have to watch it a couple times to appreciate, you know, how much airtime he's getting and how big these jumps are, because we know we've met him, trained with him, and yeah, he's on another level when it comes to
And
power output.
you know, I love those double Kongs he does.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I learned quite a bit from him, like when he was here, like with his double Kong game, like rail double Kongs and like weird stuff like that. So,
Cool.
yeah, I liked it.
Cool.
Is there any other videos you wanted to talk about, or is that
The Dodo video, the new
Dodo video?
It's not quite a traditional parkour video, so we'll
Yeah.
throw that in.
Yeah.
We watched that the other day.
it? Yeah.
There tends to be a theme of a thing you can do when you don't actually land something quite well.
Yeah. You just front out.
Yeah, you front out.
I thought that part of the video, because it wasn't the whole video. It was like a clear section of the video where they were just, I guess it
Taking
was
the piss out
at,
of everything.
I guess it was at Venice Beach, and they were just doing, you know, crazy trick to punch front, like, and they would just punch front out of everything. I really like that. I thought that was really cool touch on their movement, and yeah, like the video itself was awesome. To me, it was pretty much Alfred Scott showreel plus friends.
Yeah.
But actually, that's like the name of the video. It was like Alfredo something and the crispy banana
It had a
gang
name,
or something
yeah.
like that. Like, I don't remember what the name was,
Yeah.
but it's clear that it's like Alfred Scott and friends. But yeah, like that Julian Williams, I guess, is ginger named Mustard, or at least he was.
I think he actually changed to
Yeah,
Julian
yeah,
Williams now.
yeah. He's Julian Williams now. But yeah, he's pretty talented as well. Like
Yeah.
I liked his skills. He's got Kong gainers and those like cast gainers as well.
How old is he? You know?
I'm not sure. I think he's like teenager still though, like 18 maybe, 19,
Yeah.
maybe younger. I don't know. I met him in Boston. He was a pretty nice guy.
Cool. All right. Well, not too much else to talk about this week, but we actually have a lot of questions. So I thought I'd try to get to some of the more popular ones. First one, kind of at the top. It's got quite a few likes here. If you've read the article, "The Impact of Parkour" by Charles Moreland and Nicole Suchy, am I saying?
Sushi.
Spelled Suchy. Anyway, which just came out today. I'd be really interested in your take. Interesting things to hear about could be, this gets long. Your best guess based on your research and experience on the long-term effects on your joints of different amounts of impact. How coaches should communicate with students, especially young ones, about impact. I'm just trying to shorten this. If the level of impact that we commonly see recreational tracers taking is unsustainable, what are the implications for parkour coaching and the parkour culture? Okay, so part one, your best guess based on your research and experience on the long-term effects on your joints of different amounts of impact. Well, research is it's anecdotal. We're not taking data. And I mean, my biggest issue with this is you can't really tell how people recover from, like, sure, you train, you get something inflamed, or you get like tiny stress fractures or something, and then you recover, you adapt, because the human body adapts to it. So we don't really know what happens.
So that's the biggest thing I have is the recovery. Did you read the article?
I skimmed it just like literally before we started recording here, because I saw this question.
Okay. I read the article last night, and he cites some research that they did. This is really interesting. They used like a rabbit, and they basically attached it to some kind of machine. I don't know the full details. Like, they didn't write up the methods or anything, but basically I guess they had the rabbit just like take impact. Like, I don't know if like the machine just like dropped it like this a bunch of times or something like that. It was, pretty inhumane. I'm sure Tim would have some problems with it.
Totally.
But so the protocol though was 56 impacts per minute for an hour every day for 6 weeks.
That's what parkour is.
That's what parkour is, right? So like that in itself, like that study, to me, it does not tell you anything about parkour.
No.
It shows me that, like, yes, impact is bad when it's done in extremely high volume, but nobody does 56 height drops per minute for an hour for 6 weeks in a row, like straight. Nobody does that. Apparently after 3 weeks, the rabbits were having like breakdown of their joints and cartilage. That to me is like it's a study that doesn't tell you anything about parkour. So I would be very skeptical when you look at that kind of research, because, like you said, recovery. It's like you're not allowing that rabbit to recover. One, the volume is way too high. It doesn't actually mimic a parkour person at all. Two, there's absolutely no recovery. Three, it's not the rabbit taking drops, it's being pounded by this machine. I don't really even know.
Also,
how
like,
it's
massively different anatomy there.
Different anatomy, like there's so many issues with trying to make that to extend that into the parkour world. So I guess that was the biggest standout in the article. In terms of long-term impacts for parkour, like I think taking a lot of like impact is probably going to have some like detrimental effects on your joints in the long run, particularly if you're not strong, particularly if you're using poor technique, particularly if you're doing it with excessive volume. But I think parkour it's not that bad for you. Like, you should be training well. You should be training with minimal impact. Like, I was talking to Dylan Baker while he was here, and he's got a ridiculous jump. He's got like some of the craziest skills in parkour, and he was like, yeah, most of my training is like low impact. And it's like, cool. Like, that's a good way to train. I feel like most people should train that. Like maybe like
more low intensity days, less high intensity.
Lower intensity days.
Particularly as you get better, and particularly as you've been in the sport for longer.
Yeah, and like a lot of his stuff is like descending lines. So it's like descending line, like good descending lines. It's not taking a height drop. It's actually like slowing yourself down as you fall, right? Which is a really cool concept in terms of allowing, like, trying to reduce the gravity's impact on you. So I mean that's kind of my takeaway is. There's probably some long-term effects on your joint health when you do parkour, particularly if you have high loads, and high volume. But if you train smart, you train well, like, it's not going to be that bad, not going to be that detrimental.
Yeah. I just want to bring this up. Yeah. Hold that for me.
Okay.
Let me put it down. Anyway, so I ruptured my Achilles tendon about a month ago. Complete rupture, doing a tic-tac up a wall. During that session, I probably did 40 to 50 tic-tacs of the same nature, using the same technique, and it didn't snap. So it's an acute injury, but caused a lot probably by some fatigue in that session. We can point to that. We can point to the summer of training that I just finished, which was highly specialized. I usually do a little bit more general training throughout the year, and I just decided this summer, I'm going to be going after challenges like several times a week. Before that, I finished an entire wave of like an 8-week shock training program. So this is build up. Before it too, like I was dealing with jumper's knee on this leg, so it was already starting to fall apart a bit. And again, we're kind of finishing this like summer season, and I was already starting to implement some more general training. And I can't necessarily take away from it like, oh, don't do exactly that again. You know, maybe taper off a little bit earlier. Maybe take a little bit more rest. I already do though. I already take rest in between stuff. I like to push it though. You know, I like to be able to perform a little bit under fatigue. And this is parkour. You know, this is doing all these challenging things and adapting them is parkour. So I can't justify telling someone and trying to police their movement. You know, there's a little bit that can be done in terms of educating. But I almost think Charles's big problem is he's so wrapped under like this it's so heavy on him, this stigma of parkour being dangerous, that he's like, okay, I gotta in my community make sure everyone's doing everything really, really safe so they can't point at us, but they're still gonna do it. Because you're never going to change the community at large of global people just doing stupid stuff and reckless things. And me, a guy who's been training over a decade and being as smart as I can about it, got caught being imperfect. You can't be perfect all the time. It's retarded. And there's stress doing even other activities too. You could be a runner, you know, doing like little impact at a time, and stuff like that happens to you. The sports where Achilles ruptures are most prominent are actually court sports, where there's cutting and stuff, and they're not doing the big drops and stuff we do. So it's I don't know. It's ridiculous. It's a problem with parkour. Yes, we do have a bad stigma, but I don't think the answer is just over policing people. And he's putting, you know, tags and stuff on. Like I saw that photo, and he's putting tags like, "This is how much impact you have if you drop off there." I think that's just ridiculous. I mean, sure, like he's showing off his research and stuff, but to point that out to people and to say, "Hey, don't, you know, do this jump."
The numbers he throws around in the article are a little bit concerning.
It's my turn.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Got that nice spill going.
That's like a.
We came prepared though.
Dang it. We did come prepared.
Came prepared.
We really gotta use a desk next time, maybe, or something. I was reaching for my phone there to check the time. Anyway, go on. Please do not let this interrupt you.
The numbers that he threw around in the article. He's just throwing it on like, oh, how many pounds of force like you're experiencing, like when you're dropping off of this height, and if you weigh this much. And I think a lot of those are like scare tactics more than anything. It's like I don't think it's. Yeah, maybe it's good idea to have some idea of the numbers, but what are the numbers really telling you? Like what like. And why can't you just go more on like intuition on like how a jump felt, and like I mean education, you know, talk to your students about the effects of jumps and like what is control and what is a good landing, of course, obviously. I guess the way you would convey it to them is like cleanliness, right? I would say like you shouldn't try to be like Mr. like oh, like you just did so much damage to your joints by jumping off of that height. You shouldn't be like that guy when you're communicating to your students. You should be like, no, like that wasn't a very clean landing because you couldn't control that drop. You should start with much lower drops, build yourself up so that you can take that drop. But even then, once you're that strong, you shouldn't do that jump very often, right? Because again, you have to be cautious with your body. Like, but again, it's not because like, oh, you'll get hurt doing that. You know, nobody wants to hear that. Nobody's gonna respect you if you're telling you if everything you say is like, oh, you're gonna hurt yourself.
It's the parkour police.
I hear that. I guess that's my thing with it. The takeaway from the article was, it seemed like kind of scare tactic-y. Like it was really like alarmist. Yeah. It was, which I think is not the right way to approach things. I guess it got people thinking about it and talking about it, but like all the takeaways. I appreciate his, where he's coming from. It's like, you don't want people like just taking height drops unnecessarily.
Wow. technology is hard. This camera, which is our main source of audio, shut off. I was recording at the wrong frame rate, I guess, this week. Sorry about that, but we were just finishing talking about.
Sorry about that.
Canadian. We were just talking about Charles Moreland's article. We're just wrapping up on that. So, any final thoughts on that?
No.
Okay. Seriously, though. Just in case we didn't get it. Any final thoughts?
I don't think my final thoughts really meant anything. It was just like, yeah, I think it was a little too alarmist. I think there's better ways of telling people not to take height drops than saying 800 pounds of force. You know, that's kind of a little
in your
ridiculous.
face.
Yeah.
I'm right here, man. You don't need to yell.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we're kind of upped our. I want to make these half an hour, hopefully. We've already passed the half an hour mark, so I just want to get to two quick more questions here. Two quick ones. The favorite ones. Oh, okay, yeah, got a lot of likes. Vinny Fiaco wants to know who is mom and who is dad. I think I'm mom.
I'm gonna go with your dad, and Ma is mom.
That's good.
I think that's better.
Good. Okay, that's a quick one. These are the kind of questions we want. 2 likes. No, that's not enough. Oh, there's some good questions. Not enough likes.
Do Brian's.
Oh yeah. Okay. So, two-parter from Brian. Got quite a bit of likes here. Who is the tallest tresseur?
You are, Brian. Everyone knows.
Is Instagram the new main place for PK content?
Yes.
I hate PK. First of all, don't say PK. Okay. Parkour. And how could we use it more efficiently? Efficiently. I don't use that word. Someone's trying to get in the gym right now, and they're being very rude about it.
Yeah.
It's fine. Okay.
How do we use it more efficiently? You just post consistent, good content that people like.
Which is hard.
And follow other people that have similar interests and stuff.
Yeah. I think it's going to burn out. It's, by definition, if you're doing dailies and stuff, you're oversaturating your content. And I think eventually people are just going to get tired of seeing stuff every day. Or maybe not.
Or they'll favor like more creative.
Yeah. I still think there's a place for the bigger videos, and I think if you look at who's popular or who has a big following on social media are typically the people who are putting out larger content, so longer videos or bigger things. There's a couple. There are a couple people that are kind of making a good following just off of social media.
Well, here's the example. Store, they put out a feature-length movie, basically, which is, that's the antithesis of Instagram. That's like the answer to Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram's 15 seconds. This is like hours long. So, and Storm's doing the same thing, and Merm is supposed to be doing the same thing. So, yeah, I think there's actually a place for both of it. I think there's like that, ADD, generation is gonna really like the Instagram stuff, but the dedicated parkour people, they're gonna start watching those longer videos as well, and then everything in between. I think just more parkour media is gonna be good. We just need to make sure that an audience is developing, and some of that's going to be with continue doing what we're doing, and some of it's going to be the more sportification of parkour. But we just need to grow the sport.
Yeah, I like to think of Instagram as a blog.
Yeah.
I've always kind of wanted to have a blog for parkour, just for like my thoughts on parkour, for training or whatever. But it's a lot of work to want to write on a frequent basis, but also to keep the content interesting. And it's also difficult with Instagram. Like I'm not a photographer. I kind of know how to take good photos a little bit, but I'm not posting the kind of stuff the store or some of the Tempest guys are posting as far as photo quality.
But you went to school for cinematography.
I did
and
go.
Not a lot of people know that.
For cinematography. But cinematography and photography are two completely different things.
Yeah, I guess.
They are.
All right. You would know.
But currently, I'm injured, and I'm actually this is a long recovery. So I'm looking at somewhere close to probably 200 days from when I got injured to where I'll be doing parkour somewhat competently. So kind of the cool thing about Instagram for me right now is I'm trying to just do a daily post, and it's actually helped me keep track of the days. Normally I'd be thinking like, oh, when did I do it? Oh, was this? But because I'm actually marking each post with day, you know, like today's like day 33. I have to check yesterday's post to check that. But yeah, it's helped me keep track, and it's, you know, keep me a little bit motivated. Some of the feedback and stuff there. So it's nice to have a little blog kind of thing like that.
Do you want to plug your handle?
Plug my Res Origins.
Yeah. Follow at Res Origins.
Follow for one-legged things.
One-legged lava. One-leg lava.
Yeah.
You should just change your handle to One-Leg Lava for now.
For now?
Yeah.
No.
No? All right,
No.
fine.
You could also follow Tom Jumps for perfectly functional human being.
I wouldn't say that.
Anyway, man, I spilled my coffee, so I think we'll call
calling
it
it there.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That's